Get ready, because everything you thought you knew about forests is about to change. We're going to dive into this hidden world, a secret social network that's thriving right under our feet. And trust me, it's not just a story about trees. It's about a whole living, breathing community.
So I want you to hold this question in your mind for a bit. What if a forest, the one you hike through or see at the park, wasn't just a random bunch of trees? What if it was one giant connected system? Maybe even an intelligent one. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But believe it or not, science is now showing us that this is the reality.
Okay, so for the longest time, the scientific view was pretty simple. Forests are battlegrounds, relentless competition, every tree fighting for itself. But then, a massive discovery came along and just completely flipped that idea on its head. It turns out there's this secret world of cooperation happening right underground. So let's get into it. How did we go from seeing rivalry to seeing a real community?
All right, first up, let's talk about that old school view. For centuries, this was the scientific model, no questions asked. A story all about a forest full of rivals.
Yeah, the thinking was super straightforward. It's every tree for itself. A silent, constant war for light, for water, for nutrients. The biggest, tallest trees would soak up all the sun, and the little guys down below, well, they'd get starved out. It was a classic survival of the fittest deal, just happening in super slow motion.
And then, everything changed. This Canadian scientist, Suzanne Simard, she started asking these questions that nobody else was even thinking about. And what she found would literally reshape the entire field of ecology. It's an amazing story. You can actually point to a specific year, 1997. Before that, the competition model was king, period. But when Simard published her landmark research in the journal Nature, wow, that was the first domino. It kicked off a whole new way of thinking about how forests actually work.
So her experiment was just brilliant and so elegant. She took two totally different kinds of trees, paper birch and Douglas fir, and showed that they were passing vital carbon back and forth to each other. But here's the mind-blowing part. It wasn't just a random leak. The flow was, it was smart. If one tree was in the shade, the tree in the sun would send it resources. This wasn't competition at all. It was straight-up mutual support.
So you're probably asking, how on earth is that even possible? Well, the answer is these incredible little things called mycorrhizal fungi. Seriously, the best way to think of them is like the forest's own biological internet. They create these huge, complex webs underground that literally plug into the roots of different trees, even trees from totally different species.
And this amazing underground network, it's got the perfect name, the Wood Wide Web. So let's take a look at what's actually going on down there in this hidden social network.
And it's not just about sharing food. Through this fungal superhighway, trees are sharing pretty much everything. Carbon, water, you name it. But what's even crazier is that they're sending information. They can send out these chemical alarm signals, like a warning to their neighbors that, hey, there's a bug attack coming.
Okay, so at the very heart of this network, Simard found what she calls mother trees. And these are not just any old trees. We're talking about the big, ancient, dominant ones. They're like the grand central stations of the forest, hooked up to hundreds, sometimes thousands of other trees.
And what these mother trees do, it's just incredible. They're the main communication hubs, for sure. But get this, they can actually recognize their own seedlings, and they'll send them extra nutrients, to give their kids a little head start. But what's really amazing is that it's not just about their own family. They also help out the other seedlings in the area because they seem to know that a healthier, more diverse forest is a stronger forest for everybody. They are absolutely crucial for the resilience of the whole ecosystem.
Well, you can imagine, an idea this big, this revolutionary, it wasn't going to stay locked up in academic papers for long. It just exploded out into the mainstream, from science into story, and totally captured the public's imagination.
I mean, it didn't just revolutionize ecology, it really struck a chord with all of us, right? Maybe because it taps into our own ideas about community. You know the Tree of Souls from the movie Avatar? Yep, totally inspired by this science. It's a huge part of the incredible novel The Overstory, and Suzanne Simard's own book, Finding the Mother Tree, became a massive bestseller. It just goes to show how much this idea resonates with people.
And look, this isn't just some cool, fascinating story. It has huge real-world consequences, especially for how we manage our forests. Think about it.
Conventional clear-cutting just rips these networks apart. But a newer approach, one that makes sure to leave the mother tree standing, well, those forests store way more carbon, they have more biodiversity, and, this is the big one, they grow back decades faster.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that all this knowledge isn't just a that's interesting kind of thing. It's a roadmap. It's a whole new path forward for how we can actually manage and protect our forest better.
Now, you can probably guess all this talk about mothers and talking trees, it stirred up a bit of a debate in the scientific world. Is using language like that going too far? Is it really scientific?
And you know, there are two really good points here. On one side, you've got scientists who say, hey, let's be cautious. We need to use objective, neutral language so we don't personify things too much. Totally fair. But then you have Simard's view, which is that using words like mother is a powerful tool. It helps regular people like you and me connect with the science and actually care about a forest as something more than just potential lumber.
Ultimately, it really comes down to this powerful quote from Suzanne Simard herself. Maybe the exact words we use aren't as important as the actions we take. The point is, we have to start managing our forests as what they really are, not just a resource to be harvested, but a living, breathing, connected system.
So I want to leave you with this one thought. The next time you're walking in the woods or even just see a tree in a park, just remember it's not standing there all alone. It's part of a conversation. It's part of a network, a community. So my question to you is, now that you know that, how does it change the way you see that single tree?